Hello everyone, today we discuss about the basis class 10 part 1. So first, what is bases? Okay, what is the meaning of base? So base are those chemical substance, or you can say those chemical nature which have a bitter taste, which have a bitter taste. So this is the meaning of basis, means it just kadwa taste, you can say. Okay, now second point we have it is slippery to touch. It is very slippery to touch. When you touch the base, it just slippery in nature. So this is the actual meaning of the bases. By the physical means, you can observe whether this is a base or this one is acid. So this is second point, slippery to touch. Now all the bases change the color of red litmus to blue. So the color of red litmus to blue. This is the third point. See, I am writing every point so that you can clear all the concept after that discussion. So bases are the just, you can say, the chemical property opposite of acids. So a base is a chemical substance which can neutralize an acid, you can say this one. So a base is a chemical substance which can neutralize an acid. So this is also the meaning of a base. Like we have a number of examples, like all the metal oxides, and metal hydrogen oxide, metal hydroxide, you can say hydroxide, are all bases. They all are bases in nature. Okay, like I am giving you examples for this one. The examples, like first one is sodium oxide. This is also a base. Formula is Na2O. This is sodium oxide. Now second example, we have a NaOH. This is sodium hydroxide. Okay, this one is the type of this metal hydroxide. Now we have another example of after NaOH, that is a CaO, calcium oxide, and calcium hydroxide, CaOH whole twice, it is also called slag lime. So we have a number of examples. NH4OH is also a base. So we have a number of examples of this one. So what is the actual meaning of base? Base are those chemical substance which have a bitter taste, and it is slippery to touch. The color of red litmus to blue. And a base is a chemical substance which can neutralize an acid. These are the basic meaning of the base. Okay, I think this is clear to all of you. Now next term we have, this one is alkali. Alkalis, you can say that water soluble base are known as the alkali. So I must say a base which is soluble in water is known as alkali. Now we have a number of examples of water soluble base. First one is NaOH. NaOH is a alkali. Now potassium hydroxide, KOH, is a alkali. CaOH whole twice is a alkali. NH4OH is also a alkali. MgOH whole twice is a alkali. So they are all considered as a alkali. See, the soluble base are much more useful than insoluble base, because when soluble bases or alkali, you can say, it give you a proper definition, it give you a proper reactions also. So we have a number of benefits of this one. So when we talk of a base in these discussions, it was actually a meaning of water soluble base or alkali. So this is the meaning of bases only. Now the next topic we have, you have to understand what do all the bases have in common. This is mainly a important heading in your 10th class. What do all the bases have in common? Means all the bases have a common substance. What is that? That is want to describe here. So I am taking one example here, NaOH. When you dissolve this NaOH in water, it will break down into ions. First one is Na positive and second one is OH negative. Okay, so this is first reaction. Now I am taking another reaction to just explain you clearly. KOH, potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide, when dissociate in water, it will give you K positive plus OH ions. This is second reaction. Now come to the third one reaction. I am taking another example, MgOH whole twice. This will clear to find out what is common in all these three reactions. So Mg plus 2 plus OH negative ions. I am not balancing these equations, but the common substance we are obtaining after the dissociation, that is OH negative hydroxide ion. So what is common in all the bases? Bases only and only these terms, that means OH negative. So presence of the hydroxide ions indicate the basic character or basic property in the bases only. Okay, so common property of all the bases is that they all produce hydroxide ion when you dissolve in water. Number of examples we have. First one is NaOH, KOH and MgOH whole twice. Now this is clear to all of you, I think so. Now on dilution of the bases, we are just dividing bases into two types. First one is your strong base. First one is your strong base and second one is your weak base. So we are dividing the base into two categories. What is the meaning of a strong base? So when the substance is completely dissolved or ionized, you can say ionizes in water, it will give you number of your lots of OH negative ions. Okay, so this is the meaning of strong base. If the substance dissolve completely, ionize completely in water, it will give you number of OH negative ions, that is known as the strong base. Okay, now come to the weak base. Now I am giving you one example of this one, a strong base. We have a number of examples. Suppose NaOH, KOH, they are a strong base because each and every ions dissociate into the cations and anions, you can say. Now come to the weak base. Weak base is partially ionized, not completely, partially. That means partially ionized in water. When it partially ionized in water, so a small amount of hydroxide ions produced. A small amount of hydroxide ions is produced. Okay, so this is the meaning of that one. So this is considered as a weak base, and number of examples we have. First one is CaOH whole twice, that is a weak base, although it is a base, but it is a weak base. Now second example I am giving you, NH4OH, that is also a weak base. Another example we have NgOH whole twice, that is also a weak base. So we have to understand which one categorized in the strong base and which one is categorized in weak base. So this clear only and only when you just study all these topics carefully. Now after dividing bases into strong base and weak base, now we have a properties of bases, chemical and physical, both are involved in this one. We are not distinguish that one is physical and that one is chemical. We are just collectively do the study of these bases. Okay, the properties of these bases. So first one, it is having a bitter taste. First one, that is a bitter taste. That is the first property. Second property, feel soapy to touch. When you touch the base, it just feels slippery. Third property, red litmus to blue. Red litmus to blue, that is your third property. Now fourth property I am discussing with you, they are all electrolytes. This term we are already discussed in your acid part, electrolyte. And electrolyte means which conduct the electricity when you dissolve that substance in water. So when base is dissolved in water, it splits into ions, and ions are responsible for the conduction of electricity. I think you all know very well. So this is the nature of the bases. They are treating like a electrolyte. Now fifth property I am just explain you. They, when the metal react with base, it will give you a salt plus hydrogen gas, same as the previous one. Acid also show this property. When metal react with an acid, it will give you the salt plus hydrogen, but the reaction format is little bit different. Now I am taking one example here, Zn plus NaOH. Okay, it will give you what compound? Salt, Na2ZnO2. This is your salt plus hydrogen. What is the name of this one? That is a sodium zincate. Sodium zincate. Now I am just compare when metal dissolve in acid, suppose H2SO4, it will give you ZnSO4 plus hydrogen. See the difference between these two. This is sodium zincate and this is zinc sulfate. So this is the basic difference. Otherwise the reaction is same. I think that is clear to all of you what is the main difference between these two. Now come to the sixth property. Now sixth property is that bases when react with the acids. Okay, when bases react with an acid, I am giving you one example, H2SO4, it will give you Na2SO4 plus H2O. So this is the basic meaning of reaction. When bases react with acid, it will give you salt and water. It will give you salt and water. So this is the basic meaning of that one. So this is also known as a neutralization reaction. Yes. Why? Because this is a base and this is an acid. So when acid and base react together, it will give you a salt and water. So that reaction is known as neutralization reaction. I think that is very common because we have studied this reaction in earlier chapter, that means chapter 1. So I think that is clear to all of you. So this is also the meaning of neutralization reaction. With the help of example you can explain this one. Now seventh property we have, when bases react with non-metal oxide, what will happen? It will give you salt plus water. Same reaction we have studied in the acids, but in that case acid react with metals, because acid react with metal and it will give you the salt plus water. But now in that case non-metal oxide when react with base, it will give you salt and water. This is also important reaction, so just learn carefully. So I am giving you one example of this one, CaOH whole twice, this is base, plus non-metal oxide. I am giving you carbon dioxide is a non-metal oxide, because this carbon is a non-metal and oxide is combined with the non-metal. So this one is a non-metal oxide. It will give you salt, CaCO3 plus water. So this is the reaction of non-metal oxide with base. So I think 7 property are sufficient to all of you, because this is a part of your class 10 chapter 2. So this is the meaning of that one. Now come to the next property. We are doing uses of bases. What are the uses of bases we have? What are the uses of bases? First use, that sodium hydroxide it is very common. Sodium hydroxide is used in making soap, paper and synthetic fiber like rayon is a synthetic fiber, that is man-made. Now second base we have, that is a slag lime. Slag lime, what is the formula of this one? CaOH whole twice, that is a slag lime. What is the use of slag lime? It is used to make bleaching powder. What is the formula of bleaching powder? CaOCl2. So this is the formula of the bleaching powder. Okay. Now third base we have MgOH whole twice. MgOH whole twice is known as antacid, and this is also called milk of magnesia. So it is just remove the or you can say cure indigestion. So it neutralize the excess amount of acid which is present in our stomach. So neutralize the acid in our stomach, and that's why it is known as the antacid. So I think these terms is clear to all of you. You just study And if you feel any problem regarding this one, you just text me, WhatsApp me, and just give me an idea कि ma'am this is I'm not getting, so I will solve this problems. Okay, thank you, have a good day.